Just wanna feel purple, yellow.
Welcome to the 13th episode of the Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue podcast, a Portugal The Man podcast. Each podcast I'm joined by a guest to talk about everything going on with Portugal The Man. We've got news, social media, tour dates being added, that sort of thing, some remixes, some live shows to analyse and some little other bits and pieces. Also each episode with the guest we have the PTM song game, we also try to catch them out with that. We also talk about their live show experiences, that sort of thing, catch up, learn how they discovered the band as well. You can find this podcast, past and future episodes, up on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast. Maybe I'll get around to doing Apple one day, I don't know. And thank you to Liam, who's the creator of the artwork and the thumbnails. My name is Mark, and my guest joining me today is...
Hey everyone, I'm Ralph. You might know me from the Reddit as Love Me or Rage Me, or in the Discord with the same name, or also just Orange. I go by in the Discord.
And what a good colour that is as well. Did I tell you my favourite colour was orange?
I think you did mention that. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. And it kind of, small, quick anecdote is it kind of became that way because my Reddit username of Love Me or Rage Me has always kind of read as Love Me Orange, and people has always just kind of mistaken it for that. So I kind of just adopted that for the sake of being easier.
I actually read it. Yeah, I do read it as orange. Now you mentioned it, the couple of times I've read your username. I completely get that. No, I like it. Yeah. How you doing, Ralph, on this Sunday morning for you, Sunday afternoon for me?
I'm great. It's kind of a dark, dreary winter morning in New York for me, but that's kind of how it's like for 6 months out of the year here, so nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, likewise. It's very overcast. It's been raining a little bit. We had a bit of snow on Friday, a little bit of sleety snow, which for the first time this year, basically post summer, draw the line there. We got snow for the first time, so yeah, I had to clear that up, had to deal with all that. I've not been able to drive my car for about 2 weeks, and the first day I could, it decided to snow. So I had that fun thing to look forward to first thing in the morning, but no, it was all good, all taken care of, and maybe we'll get a bit more snow, but I don't know. Yeah, again, thank you for coming on today. Got some things to talk about, Portugal the Man wise, I should say. Best place to start with people, Ralph, is how did you come to know of the band, learn of the band? What is your sort of first contact, we'll say?
So, my story is that I just in high school, just kind of coming into my own, trying to figure out my music taste and everything. I specifically remember very vividly sitting in the basement of my parents' house, working on a project for my art class that I was taking, and that's when Apple was trying to push their Apple Radio thing. I think they were trying to kind of compete with Pandora a little bit. I don't think it's still a thing anymore, but it was a thing at that time. So I just threw it on, and I just remember I don't know how or why, but the song "Purple, Yellow, Red, and Blue," which is fitting, um, just kept being the first song that would come on when whenever I would play the Apple Radio, and I admittedly I would skip it all the time. I'd be like, oh, I want to listen to songs I know. I don't want whatever this is. And eventually, finally, I was just like, all right, they suggest this song so much, I'll finally listen to it. So I did, and I was like, wow, I've been hurting myself because the song is amazing, and I've been skipping it for who knows how long. And this was right around the time that Evil Friends was coming out. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, I want to check out more by the band. So I listened to Evil Friends, completely fell in love with that album. Still might be my favorite album by them. Definitely, it definitely changes every now and then, but it's special to me because it's the one that brought me in. And I just kind of did a deep dive through everything they ever put out, and it just was really amazed by like how each album had such a different sound, but was still done so well. Yeah, and then it's been a fan ever since.
Yeah, very very fitting actually. Purple, yellow, red, and blue. We have a very similar kind of start date as well. I was kind of around like In the Mountain and the Cloud, kind of around that time. Maybe a little bit post release of that. It's kind of when I discovered them. We're talking beforehand about sport a little bit, and I'm quite a big football fan, or soccer, in the US, and obviously they had songs on the FIFA game, so I'd play that. I'd lose a game. I'd go back to the main menu. Got it all. Would start playing, and I was like, oh, I quite like this. And then with FIFA 14, Purple, Yellow, Red, and Blue was on that one. And then eventually I was a fan, and it was like, oh yeah, they've got this, okay. And we started like developing taste at that age as well. I was about 16, 17, around 2013, which is kind of where most of your like roots of your musical taste, a bit like you, kind of started as well.
Right.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. You know what? It's pretty interesting to hear everyone's start story, or like first, because everyone's has been different. Every single person, there's not one person who's got exactly the same story. There's some people who like didn't mean to go to a show, and then like some people who are like, oh, I discovered through like this, or like I heard it in public, or like a friend was taking me. Everyone's experience is different, which is kind of crazy to me, because most people nowadays with a new band, you'd think, oh, I heard them on a streaming service, but I suppose they're OG enough. They were kind of big before you had to listen to them on one of the big streaming services or whatever. Not quite the blog area, but the blog era, but kind of in between that. Yeah, no, but it's pretty cool to hear everyone's like startup story. What's You said Evil Friends is your favorite album. Are there any ones contesting Evil Friends? Is there anything else at the top there?
Sometimes it's just whatever one I listened to most recently. um, but again, Evo, for instance, has such a big nostalgia factor for me, which I know is weird to say because it's not that old of an album. But again, like since that's the album that kind of got me into the band, it just holds such a special place in my heart.
10-year anniversary, to be fair. 10-year anniversary this year.
That
So.
yeah, that's true. Wow, crazy.
Yeah, which is mad.
In my head, I was telling myself like, oh, that came out like 5 years ago, and but wow, no, it was 10 years.
It's mad as Woodstock is 6 years old, and that doesn't feel like 6 years, does it?
Yeah,
Six and
that's
a
wild to
half.
think about.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to think about. And Evil Friends, and yeah, but yeah, anything you listen. Oh, fair enough. I quite like In the Mountain. I quite like Churchmouth. I quite like Waiter. I quite like American Ghetto if I'm in the mood for it. But
Yeah.
I think with Chris Black this year, I've definitely. I don't know how you were feeling. Well, you know what? We'll talk about it generally. How are you feeling about Chris Black changed my life in general? Because I've asked people, and everything over has been surprised how much they like it and how positive people are on it. How are you feeling about it?
I loved it from the get go. The singles, I liked what I was hearing there. I liked where the sound was going, and then I'm very much, I listen to albums as like a complete project. Um, so once I had the full project and I could listen to it front and back, that just made everything, even all the singles I had heard, 100 times before, so much better. Just because, it was complete and everything flowed together, and I got to hear the transitions, and you get to hear because it's obviously a very, very thematic, deep, personal album for them. So when you get to hear that story start to finish, it's just so beautiful, and I really do love it.
Well said, well put, exactly. Yeah, it's Chris Black has been. It's been a good journey. I think this year especially, like the countdown, basically from like the singles coming out and the kind of the ramp up. It was nice to be back in that. Well, we're not just waiting for news. We've actually got something to talk about, and fans can like get excited about something. And you've definitely seen it. I mean, we were talking about the Reddit and the Discord earlier, and like how much more vibrant it is, and how much more people
Yeah,
are talking. And like that doesn't happen when you're a fan of like a band that hasn't done anything for a few years, maybe they're not touring, maybe they're not doing that sort of thing. But I really like Chris Black, and I also, like you mentioned, I am a big. I just put on an album front to back, and I know everyone was posting their Spotify raps, but one of the things it did say for mine is, "Oh, you like listening to stuff all the way through. You're like committed," and I'm like, "Is that committed now?" I don't know. I like just putting it on. Like I feel like they have a story to tell with each album. Is that the bar of entry for commitment? Is listening to an album, a 40-minute thing? It's not even that long, is it? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I really like Chris Black. I think Grim Generation, Dummy, Doubt, Plastic Island. There's so many good. I mean, I'm still enjoying it, and I'm not overdoing it as well. I'm pacing myself so I don't get burnt out of listening to it. It doesn't get old.
Yeah, and that's a good way to do it. Because I definitely could do that to myself sometimes, where especially when something first comes out, it's all I listen to. And like for example, and I won't get too sidetracked here, but when the Wrapped and everything, or I'll admit I'm an Apple Music user, so mine was a replay instead of a Wrapped. But I get like obsessive, and for me this year, my top album was the actually the Sampler album that he did this year, and I wasn't even that big of a fan of his before. Like I listened to his other album, I liked it. It's not like I listened to him religiously. This album, I don't know what he did with it, but I listened. It came out a month ago, and I had like almost 500 plays on my replay in just 1 month on that album, and
Bloody hell.
yeah, yeah, I know. I don't know. Concerning impressive. I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But yeah. So I can definitely get that way. But again, even with all the times I was listening to Chris Black when it came out, it was so fresh every time, and I'm still not sick of it. But like you said, like I can see because I definitely do that to myself sometimes. But I haven't gotten to that point with this one yet, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I don't plan on like. I mean, 500 times is excessive. Just a little bit, I'd say. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have the time for that, but no, hey, impressive. I'll give you that. I don't know how much. I think they were my number two artist. I do have. I don't use Apple Music yet. I'm not a. What was it called? Not Wrapped, or what was the other one you said?
It's replay.
Replay. Pardon me. I'm not too familiar with Apple's ecosystem. I've one or two devices, but not big into them. Not I say big into them. Not used them too much. Oh right, I didn't know. I also heard YouTube also does like a thing as well. But I mean, I don't know about you. I'll search up joke songs and like funny videos on there, and I don't really want my end of year rap to be a 1998 song called "Horny," which is I just put it on because we were talking about football earlier. One of our football players, there's this, that I have to explain this in full. So basically, the player is called Orsi, and the song is "Horny." And basically, when you say those words, they kind of sound similar enough. So basically, the chant at games is "Orsi, Orsi, Orsi." It's kind of in the same vein, and it's gotten so bad that before the kickoff at the games, they'll play about 10 seconds of the song. And I'll be honest, probably not great for kids to be hearing. But you know what? It don't sound that bad. So anyway, enough plug for Moose Tea and I don't even know fucking Jesus. Anyway, they also do the Tequila song as well, which I'm sure everyone's heard of. But I've already talked too much about sport anyway. I wanted to ask you. You mentioned favourite album, Evil Friends. What about favourite song? Like individual track? Doesn't have to be on Evil Friends or like some of your favourites. What are your favourites?
My all-time go-to is always gonna be the Pushers Party. That song just like front to back, start to finish, it's just perfect. I love everything about it. It's just such a groove. I always jam out. I'll always sing it really loud whenever it comes on. Just the melodies and the guitar riffs and the groove and everything. That song is perfect 10 out of 10.
I didn't think I'd expect to hear the Pushers Party as your favourite one, but fair play. I quite like that one. American Ghetto. Yeah, that's a good little track. Is that? I'll put it on actually after this and jam out to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just and just like American Ghetto, you did ask a little bit ago and about like close ones to Evil Friends, and I guess a more serious answer would be American Ghetto would be right there. Like I love the more like psychedelic vibe to that one. It's so good. And I
Mm.
think that was one of I'm trying to remember. I might be wrong about this, but that might have been one of the first Portugal the Man records I owned. I actually bought it off of Chris from the Discord, like way back when the Discord, way before the Discord. Just we had always we've been in touch for a long time through the Reddit, and I remember he was selling a bunch of records, and that was one of them. And I bought that one off him a while ago, and I think that might have been the first one I owned by them.
Any physical media from them?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, cool. I think I have it somewhere on CD. That's pretty cool having American Ghetto on record. Oh, that's awesome. And shout out to Chris anyway. Yeah, I've had him on once or twice. Yeah, he's a good lad. He's good. I like to think of him as like the connector between the fans and the band. He's kind of that middleman a little bit. Not middleman energy, but you know what I mean. I think he does a good job there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's awesome.
definitely really like took on that role, and especially like in the downtime, like being a member of a music like fandom and community like Reddit or Discord is such like highs and lows, because those times when a band will take 4 or 5 years off, you kind of the core members of like a community will stick around and chat, and they'll talk, and but when there's nothing going on, it's like, especially like from like as a mod or like an admin of those communities, people start to ask like, hey, like it's kind of dead in here, what are we going to do? And I'm always like kind of shrugging my shoulders like, we're going to wait a little bit and hope that they make an announcement soon. That's kind of going I'm kind of going through that in another Discord for another band
Oh,
where they just haven't like
name him,
announced anything in years, so it's like,
name him, and shame him. Come on.
yeah, it is the Foster the People Discord.
Oh, fan of them as well.
So
Nice.
they have been MIA for a while now. But there's been a little bit of movement of teasers and stuff like that on social media, so we'll see where that one goes.
Back
Yeah,
end.
but Chris, he always was like helping out, even like before like coming on and doing the Discord and being a mod in the community and everything. Like he was always helping us out with stuff kind of behind the scenes, like always doing stuff for us. And then the Discord idea kind of like finally we started to get the ball to roll. So we just like, we're like, hey, like he just really took the lead on that. And, we helped him out as much as we could. But I will say, it was like 99.9% of the work was big shout out to Chris. He's the man responsible for, a lot of the growth in this community the past couple of years. And I love him. He's just a good guy all around. So I always love chatting with him.
Yeah, massive shout out to Chris as well. The link man, the link man between everything, always helping out. Yeah, and he's always been really like helpful when I've gotten to ask questions or like how do I do this or should I approach that. He's always like pretty helpful and pretty responsive as well. More on like the Discord side. I'm not on the Reddit as much. I frequent it, but I could be on them more. But I don't know. I just
Yeah,
breaks from that is not a bad thing.
yeah, I my activity on Reddit has definitely decreased quite a bit. I'll mostly look at posts that come through in the Discord and that channel where it shows like what's been posted to the subreddit.
Mm.
That's kind of how
Subreddit
I
feed,
like
yeah.
glance at the subreddit, and if like I see something that like, oh, then I'll click on and go to Reddit. But probably for the best that with that whole like API debacle that happened a few months ago. I was a big Apollo user. That was like my app. I didn't want to get the official Reddit app and everything. And ever since I lost access to that, I just kind of am like, I'm just like, do I really even need to be on Reddit as much as I was? So I guess it's probably for the best that I don't go on Reddit as much anymore. Like a lot less doom scrolling.
Mm.
But yeah, I still try to keep up with like our subreddit and like a couple of subreddits here and there as I can. But yeah, I just not as much for me anymore.
I I'm only in R1 to be honest. I'm only in R1, and I'll jump. I've had a look at other ones, but how do I say this? It's a bit like going to a friend's party and you only know one person there. It's a bit weird. You're like, well, who do I talk to? Like, I don't know anyone. What's the vibe like? Like, what is the energy? Like, Like if I go on the Foster the People one and be like, hey, they've done 3 albums, they like didn't like the label, now they've done 2 EPs, which is kind of what the deal is with them, and now they're kind of
Hmm.
figuring out what's happened. There's been a fair bit of change with the lineup as well, from what I don't really know everything too. I mean, this isn't a Foster the People podcast, so I don't know how much I should be talking about this, but you know, no, they've got ties with the band as well. Have they? Has there ever been a collab between them, or have they worked with each other? I think there's something. They definitely know of each other, but I don't know how far it stretches.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Um, but yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, have you got any like memories with the band? Sorry, have you got any memories with the band, or meeting the band, or any experiences like that? And also chuck in like live shows. Have you been to many? Or probably yes, I assume. But like recent ones, older ones. Any experiences? Any highlights you want to bring up? Yeah.
Um, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show my face in the Discord after this gets published, but I confession time, I've never seen them live. I know.
You are in a safe space. Do not worry. Do not worry.
Speechless. So my
No.
my 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 thing is kind of like anytime they've like I love going to concerts now, and that's kind of more of like a recent past few years thing for me is really going to concerts. And before, like I either was just not had no interest in going to concerts, or I was very much in a spot like I would never go if like my friends wouldn't go with me. But now I'm very much in a space where like I will go to a concert by myself in a heartbeat if I have to. So now it's just a matter of waiting for the right time. Like I will definitely catch them soon. Now it's just a matter of waiting for the right time where they have a date close to me and like it works out with my work schedule and anything else I have going on. But yeah, before it just I don't know didn't work out, but it's very 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 high up on my bucket list. So don't worry.
No, it's all good. I'm in a kind of a similar boat where I think last time they came to England was 2018, 2019, I forget. And at that time, I was I remember it actually. I think they were doing it during the summer, and I had literally I was out of work for about a month. I got laid off, and my first priority was I would really like to go to this, but I've got some adult shit to take care of, and
Yeah.
I just since then I've actually started going to a few more shows for whatever reason beforehand. Sorry, for whatever reason beforehand, I just wasn't too interested, or didn't really have like the money to do it, or whatever reason. I'd make up the excuse, but now I'm like, if there's someone I really like a favorite art, yeah, I'll go. But we haven't had as many artists come across the pond in the last post-pandemic. Unfortunately, due to like travel costs and things like that. I've talked to a couple of English fans, Portugal The Man fans, two actually not far from me, about an hour, maybe 2 hours away, and they've both gone to the US to see them this year during their like post Chris Black tour. And I'm like, I don't have the money to do that, unfortunately. I really want to, but I don't think I could spend the £1,000+ to go do that. Spend a couple of days in whatever town, meet up with someone from the Discord or something. I could have maybe done something, but it's not the year for other reasons. I'm trying to buy a property, so um, it's a
Yeah.
little bit tough. But yeah, I would also like to see them. Sorry, I've heard mumblings of next year, but who knows? I until I see it in like writing, I'm not going to believe it, to be honest. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got things to take care of. They want to stay close to home, but you know, Australia
Right.
show next year. We'll talk about it later. Mexico show next year. I don't know. They're not exactly close to home, are they? So maybe I have a
Right.
chance. Maybe.
Yeah, you never know. I have also recently in the past couple of years realized my love for festivals and going to music festivals. Obviously they frequent festivals. I just, haven't gone to one where they've played at this point. But that would be ideal I would love to just like find a festival they're playing at and go so I can see them and I can see other artists I like and just make a whole like weekend out of it. I went to Coachella this year, and that was quite an experience. Opposite side of the country for me, so flying out there, but I mean, it was awesome. I loved it. It was a great time.
I've heard I've heard many a thing about Coachella. Yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah,
It's double the distance for you what it would be. Sorry, it's double the distance for me what it'd be for you, but it's still a long way. You are going from east to west, so that's
yeah,
still impressive. Yeah,
yeah.
that you went all
That's
that way for that.
definitely the farthest west I've been in the
Hmm.
country. Like I've been to Texas once for work a couple years ago, but other than that, I usually have stuck to like the East Coast. But yeah, it was cool. It's a different world on that side of the country.
Yeah, different kind of energy out there. Who else did you see? I should say.
Um, I have a list. Give me 1 second to pull it up. I make a list of all the concerts I've been to, just because I don't know. I like to keep track of it. And let's see some of the memorable ones from Coachella, where I got to see TV Girl for the first time, and that's actually a band that I more recently got into, so it was cool to see them live. I got to see Gorillaz, which was awesome, obviously legendary,
Hey,
and
nice.
they brought out who did they bring out? I went the first weekend. I can't remember off the top
Oh,
of
the
my head, but they
feature.
brought a bunch of people out.
Oh, okay.
I got to see I'm into hip hop rap too, so I got to see Metro Boomin, and I was kind of curious what
Hmm.
that set was going to look like because he's a producer, not a rapper. So like, but he ended up bringing out people like he brought out John Legend, he brought out The Weeknd, he brought out Future and 21 Savage. Like he brought all these people out. So I was like, this is
That's
one show at
impressive.
Coachella, but he brought out all these
Jesus.
superstars. Like getting to see The Weeknd, I was like, I did not expect that at all. Like I love The Weeknd, that was really cool. Uh, J. Paul, his first, the man, the myth, the legend, who's never performed live. He's been like, that like kind of
Recluse.
cult favorite, like underground for years and years and years, but he's never performed live, and he made his first live performance at Coachella. Who else? Boy Genius was amazing. Loved them. Um, they sounded so good live. And then the big, a bit of controversy surrounding this one, but I was there weekend one, so I did get to see Frank Ocean before he ultimately canceled
Okay.
the second weekend. I love Frank Ocean. I am a massive Frank Ocean fan. That's actually the second time I've seen him. Um, I will say, for anyone wondering, I think the drama was a bit blown out of proportion, and it was a beautiful, beautiful concert. So that's my 2 cents on that part. But yeah, those are definitely some of the standouts for me.
Awesome. You saw a lot of people. I'm quite impressed. And getting to see the weekend for free as well. It's got to be what
Yeah,
you did for the price of admission or whatever. That's pretty cool. He's I think he's probably the number one artist in the world at the moment. Probably with Taylor at the moment. Them two just killing it at the moment. Portugal, we'll come back. We're top 100, I'd say. I think we'll get back. We'll push that. But they can have a crown for now. We'll have a we'll have another 2017 again, and we'll be back. We'll be
right,
back.
right.
We'll be over. We'll be over. God, they're actually like the fourth biggest artist in 2017, and I remember seeing that like graphic of Drake number 5, and then John's face at number 4, and I'm like, this was weird. This feels weird. We shouldn't be
Yeah,
here. Like, what's going on? This was no. That's a cool time. No, you did really. You saw some pretty cool artists. Sounds like a good
yeah,
time.
and yeah, just getting to see so many people that, and my list is a lot more than the people I named. Those were kind of just the standouts, but getting to see so many people that even I just like have heard a couple songs from, but I'd be like, oh, like, well, we don't have anyone else we want to see during this time slot, so let's go see this band, and yeah,
Hmm.
it's cool. Live music is always better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What did you think of Damon and the Gorillas then? What was their side? What was their
They were
set
they
like
were
a little bit?
They were great. They played like they hit pretty much like every album in their discography. Like they played something from pretty much every album. It's a lot of new stuff, a lot of old stuff, a lot of the hits. And just obviously like Damon has just such good stage presence and energy. Great performer. Sounded great live. And again, like always appreciate when he brings people out. Since especially on their more recent stuff, they've been collabing with like a ton of other artists.
Mm.
So having like those people come out too and play with them on stage, and everyone's friends and just good energy. It was really cool. Yeah, they were great. That's definitely a band I've always wanted to see live, and it just they were opening, or they weren't opening, but they were. like the second to last set of the night before one of the headliners. I forget which headliner it was, but
Oh,
yeah, no, it was really cool.
oh, pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. I was curious. I'd pick out the one British act for your entire list there. Thinking about.
Yeah.
No, actually, they were actually the first band I actually got into ever when I was a kid. Yeah, that was the
Nice. Yeah,
first
I,
one.
I love gorillas. So
Yeah, that 2005. I can't remember now, but the four heads, two by two, kind of mimicking the Beatles. Actually,
Demon
never.
Days.
Demon Days. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the first one I ever bought as a kid.
Yeah,
So like
that
I was like nine or eight,
that's
8 or 9 years old or whatever.
yeah, that's another just like perfect album. That I mean, I'm very basic answer, but Plastic Beach is my favorite. That album is incredible, but Demon Days is like
Uh,
close number two.
yeah, Plastic Beach. We've got Plastic Island. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we have
Plastic.
we have our own.
We got
We
our
have
own one
gorillas
now.
at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, we got our own one. When you mentioned, I'd probably Dare. I want to say is where they got everyone up. They got more people up. I want to say because there's a couple of features on that one, but I could be wrong. If they played
Yeah,
it live,
yeah. I'm trying to remember.
I don't really want to. We're on our third tangent already, but I'll.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll.
I keep breaking off
No,
from
it's
our
all
main
good.
conversation here.
No, it's all good. It's part of the show. Yeah, I don't know. We got some news, Ralph. I think we could transition. I wanna start off with talking about something which I wasn't even sure if it was correct before we started recording, but I confirmed it. Um, Portugal the Man will be playing in Mexico in 2024. We got this confirmed a little while ago, actually, maybe like a month ago or something. I could be wrong. Um, they'll be playing at the Viva Latino festival, which goes on during March 16th to the 17th, 2024. And they'll be playing alongside multiple acts, like a lot of acts, who are going to be playing for that sort of weekend of music. Again, we mentioned last episode with Dylan, who is from New Zealand, about band coming to Australasia, coming to Australia, and it'll be a great chance for him to go see them. It's pretty cool anyway, nevertheless, to see them travel a little bit outside, the US bubble, the Canada bubble, push a little bit out the comfort zone a little bit this year and go back to Mexico. I'm pretty sure recently Eric's actually liked to post about someone saying, "Oh, come back to Brazil," and he's like, "Yeah, we'd love to." So maybe South America as well. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Mexico show next year?
I love that because they know, like, they have fan presence all over the world, and they do. I give them credit. They do try their best to hit, beyond just the typical North American, U.S. Canada. Because now they're trickling into Mexico and Australia, like you mentioned, and especially just going back to what you said earlier, they have a lot going on, and they could just stay close to home, and I think people would understand if they did too. But they're still pushing themselves to make sure they hit these areas, so fans outside of just your typical North America, Canada dates, or like when those occasional European dates that they do get that chance to see them. Those people that only get like they're still making sure they think about those fans that might only get to see them every few years. So I respect them for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't I can't say I've been following what days they've been doing in Mexico, so I'm not sure how long it's been. It must have been a few years if this is the first time they've come back. Yeah, it's great. It's excellent if you're a fan in that country. Mexico fans go pretty crazy as well. A bit like the rest of this, not the rest of South America, but with South America, they're a pretty passionate crowd as well. So they get up. They'll be pleased to see them. They always like it when they make the effort. It's the same with everywhere else around the world. If you go to Australia, they're like, "Hey, you remembered us? Thanks." Yeah, and places like that. So, no, I think it's awesome. I'm glad they're doing it, and they're kind of breadcrumbs of like what the next first half of next year will look like. We've got the Australia show, we've got this one. I think we've got a few more music videos to come out. Maybe we've got some something in the works. Maybe another single or something. I don't know. Maybe a small like Europe worldwide tour or something. A Chris Black changed my life, or maybe a Francis changed my life tour, something like that. Maybe something like that. I don't know. Speculating. We could. I don't know. I don't know anything, but I'd like to say something like that would be cool to happen. But respectfully, understand. With everything that John's gone through with his jaw and the situation with Francis at the moment. He's
Right,
going to
and
Mexico for a weekend. Oh, sorry.
yeah, and they are, even if it's like the time spent, say, between like Evil Friends and Woodstock, a few years, or the couple years between Woodstock and Chris Black. They're, even if we don't hear from them, they're always working. Like you can tell that they're always working on stuff, and they're always thinking about the next thing, and they're not just like taking time off. And even the time that we don't see them working on music or going on tour or whatever, we see what they are doing is they are participating in activism and stuff like that. So it's like they're always doing something, and they're workhorses, and it's just like you you gotta give them credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We obviously don't see everything behind the curtain, so I mean, we didn't know about his jaw until last year. We didn't know
Right?
about
Yeah. Exactly.
Francis until was it early this year as well? So like they've
Yeah.
been dealing with this stuff internally for a little while before any of the fans really knew. Because let's be honest, 2017 to 2023, it's a bit of a long wait. It was a little bit
Hmm.
of a long wait, and yeah, we got features, and we got a couple of like singles for this, that, and the other, but it weren't hitting. I don't know, it just wasn't hitting the same, and we'll be getting back to that post-album tour kind of rhythm, maybe more live shows, and they've done a lot of live shows this year. I thought they would do like 8 shows, and that would be it. They have done those 7 or 8 kind of magnum opus shows that they said that John said that he wanted to do, but they've kind of chucked another like 30 dates in there in between as well. They've been on a mad one, and
Yeah.
it just massively impressive. They've overestimated what I thought they would be able to do, and the fact that they're doing 2, they'll be branching continents next year. Hopefully, multiple continents for my sake. Be cool to have them over here, but yeah,
Right.
yeah, be good to.
And
It's impressive, yeah. So
everything they do, they have fun with it too. Like that's the best part is they work so hard, but play harder. They just I remember vividly one of my like favorite memories was around the you know long wait before Woodstock, like you just said. People are starting to clamor. That's we kind of were getting at that time. We believed what would be glooming and dooming. Um, so there's what who knows what's going on at that point. But then when they were finally able to start, when the rollout started happening, John actually messaged. I don't remember where he messaged us on, but he messaged the mod team of the subreddit and basically like leaked noise pollution to us, like himself personally.
I've heard about
And
this. Okay.
it was the funniest thing. Like we didn't ask for that or anything. We weren't like, hey, like send us music. Like we're not like entitled to be like, oh, we're the mods. We need stuff from you. Like no, he just kind of did it out of the blue one day. So he was like, you can't post this, but you can like generate hype and like start like teasing people. So we would go into all the comments. I'd have to find the posts. I mean, they're old posts if they're even still up in the subreddit. But we started going into all the posts with where people were talking about like, oh, when are we getting new music? When are we getting new music? And we just like reply with smiley faces, or I would reply with like the purple like smirking devil emoji, just like, and people started being like, what's going on? Like the mods are starting to act weird, like something's happening. And then like a week later, um, is when the noise pollution video dropped and people were freaking. It was like stuff like that. Like it's fun, and even this rollout, like in the Discord, I think sometimes much to the detriment of Rich, John would just be like, "Hey, here's this. Here's
Yeah,
this before
yeah,
like we're releasing this song tomorrow. Here's the Dropbox file for it or something like that."
yeah. We got
See,
that
he's
album a
always
couple
having
days
fun.
early
It's
as well. Oh, sorry.
yeah, it's always about the music for him, and that's the thing. Like it's just they take care of their fans and they have fun and they work hard, and that's just a huge reason just beyond the actual songs and albums why I love them so much, because they actually care and you can tell.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just anyway, for the people doing the bingo cards, we can cross off Doomin' and Gloomin'. There'll once a podcast mention of the album, the Mike D shelved album. So there we go for anyone at home thinking about that. Yeah, no, it's always been about the art for him and the band and doing everything for that. So yeah, it's much to Rich's detriment, as you said. Yeah, someone accidentally leaked it 3 days early, the album, which was pretty cool. So it just started playing, and I couldn't do anything, Ralph. It just started, but I couldn't unhear it. I was like, oh my tainted ears, oh, had it ruined for me. No, it was that was awesome to hear. But yeah, anyway, tangent aside, yeah, Mexico should be fun. 16th to 17th of March, obviously closer to the date. I think their actual time slot will be booked in. But yeah, if you're a Mexican fan or live down there, check it out. Good chance to go catch them up. Yeah. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, if that's everything you wanted to talk about, Mexico show. By the way, Ralph, if there's any final thoughts about that, I don't know if you have any.
No, I think I said it all.
Think you said it all? Nice. We've got some remixes. Got a couple of remixes recently. Last time we had a couple of videos to catch up on. This time we've got some more remixes. It's not like Feel It Still, where there were 225 of them, and I never have time to listen to all of them. That's a rough estimate. We've got a couple ones. Summer of Luv and Doubt. I've got them. We'll start with Summer of Luv, because I have a little bit more to say about it. Actually, which one do you want to start with? I'll let you decide.
We can start with that Summer of Love one, yeah.
We'll start. So yeah, Summer of Luv featuring Unknown Mortal Orchestra, Bakermat remix. So we've got a nice little Summer of Luv remix, which I wasn't crazily expecting a remix basically for every single, but it kind of feels like we're getting one now. So see what happens. What are your initial thoughts on Summer of Luv then, Ralph? How are you feeling about this remix?
So I really liked it. It was funky, it was groovy. The bass was just like, I heard that bass kick in, especially on that first verse, and I was like just like making a face that I don't even know if I could make it again. Um and like, the horn and how it was like a little bit sped up and everything. I mean, I love that song already, and then that it was good. I'm not like, admittedly, I will say that I'm not always huge on remixes.
Hmm.
Sometimes I just feel like they're cheap and they're just kind of like, hey, I changed a couple things or like whatever, and here's kind of the same song but a little bit different again. But I will say I didn't feel that about this one. It felt fresh. It felt very, original. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's probably something I will definitely put in regular rotation.
Yeah, I quite like this as well. Actually, to be honest, I refreshed my mind this morning, listened to it a couple of times. I will say, in terms of a remix, it kind of generally sounds like the same song, but the instrumentals have changed. They've kind of kept the vocals similar, which I quite like. I'm not. I'm gonna push back a little bit and say, I think it is maybe a little bit more safer of a remix, because we'll talk about Doubt in a moment, which is a little bit crazier of one. But yeah, I definitely feel like this one. Yeah, the higher tempo, it's a lot faster, but it's actually only like 5 seconds quicker than the original album version. So, they've obviously trimmed stuff out and pushed stuff together. Or Bakermat have. I really like the additional use of the saxophone. I know it's in Summer of Luv, but I don't remember it being that prominent. It definitely feels more like boosted in this one. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot more in your face. And I guess it
Yeah.
just boils down to how you feel about the instrument of the saxophone. Again, it is already there in Summer of Love. It like, yeah, I don't think it like, I don't know. I don't think it added nor subtracted really from the remix. Again, my big thing was, for the instrumentals, was like the bass and the drums, especially. Like that's what I really loved. And the sax was like, it was there, it was cool, but it did also just kind of feel like, a sped up version of what was already
Yeah.
there. So that kind of goes back to the point I was making earlier. Like, yeah, like, because they did kind of make it the focus of the remix since it's so in your face, but it's definitely the most in your face of all the instrumentals in the remix. But I
Absolutely.
personally don't think it's the strongest part either. So it's kind of like that like slippery slope where it's definitely like you hear the sax, you're not missing that. But again, for me, there was
No.
cooler things tucked away in the background of the remix that I liked more personally.
Nice. But yeah, overall, I actually maybe a more gentle remix. Definitely not like a full reconstruction. I'm always curious how these are set up. Like, does the artist approach the band? Do they approach Rich, or do people know each other, or is John like, hey, take this? Would try something? Like, I wonder what the actual like crossover is for this because how do these things happen? I don't know. I'll be quite curious to know. Maybe if I get the chance to talk to anyone from the band again, I will. Maybe I'll ask that question. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Do you have any like opinions on how these things happen? Any knowledge? I'm maybe not as knowledgeable.
No, yeah, I I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I feel like I feel like they just have so many friends that stuff just kind of happens naturally, organically for them sometimes. Um, it's like I don't know. Like you said, who knows at the end of the day? But
Yeah.
it probably is just kind of like a hey, cool song. I wonder. I'm curious if they like do they make the remix and then send it to them and be like, hey, does this sound cool to you? And then like if it's cool, you can release it, or is it just kind of like let's do this? I don't know. It's a good thought.
I wonder because obviously they've. I imagine the amount of things they've had to sign off for like Feel It Still remixes and kind of like what's the how do people get paid for that? Is it 50-50? Is it 70-30? Like, I'm kind of curious about the details of this. Show me the contracts. Show me the contracts, Ralph. I want to know. I'm curious. Like, who signed what away? How much to Atlantic need to demonetize me again? Anyway, I won't go down that. I won't go down that path. Oh, they're funny to work with. Yeah. They are fine
I
with me
can
using a
imagine.
song, but if I use the music video, they're like, "Well, you've gone too far, Jesus." Oh, Jesus. I don't like it.
Yeah, how dare
No,
you,
honest,
Mark?
that is my expression. That is my like. That's my feeling with them. I can't upload the videos if I include videos, but the actual song, they're like, no problem. Very weird. YouTube. One day we'll figure it out. But yeah. Any final thoughts about Summer of Love remix by Bakermat and anything else you want to say about it? Or should we jump
I
into
don't
Doubt?
think so. Yeah,
No,
let's go into doubt.
no. Okay, so we have a second one. Doubt Mimizor remix. Wow. A metallic PTM crossover. I didn't have that one. I wasn't expecting anything like that. Wow. That was something. Yeah. Quite liked it actually. Probably enjoyed the Summer of Love one. If I had to like rank them, I'd probably enjoy the Summer of Love one more. But I really liked Doubt originally. I don't think it needs a remix, but glad to have it there. What do you have? Thoughts wise on this metallic Doubt version?
Yeah, like you mentioned, there's such thing as a safe remix of something, and this was not it. This was just like
No, 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 no.
I don't think it gets more night and day than
Risky.
this. Um, but I mean, it's no secret how much the band loves metal music, um, and so I bet they loved doing this. This is probably really cool for them. Me personally, not a big metal person. Don't really listen to any metal. I'll never be like, oh, like I hate this genre. I hate this genre. I think there's always going to be some songs within genres I'll enjoy here and there, and there are some metal songs that I do enjoy. It's just not really like it's pretty far down in the list of genres I would regularly listen to.
Hmm.
So like I checked out when it came out. I'm gonna listen to it. I listened to it. I was like, okay, like it's cool that they did this, but will I maybe ever listen to it again, like voluntarily? Not likely, but it's cool.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of like ongoing marketing for the album. So, oh, they're releasing features, they're releasing this, they're releasing this. It kind of keeps that. I like to use the term hype fire before the album started, we were rubbing the sticks together, Ralph. We were rubbing the sticks. We were trying to start the fire, and then obviously Heavy Games music video comes out. Bush, we're going. The fires are lit, and then it's been growing and growing. We've been blowing into it. We're trying to get the fire, and then the album comes out, and now we don't really want that dwindling to sort of wear away a little bit. So we're going to throw some wood on the fire, try and keep it going a little bit longer. And I think little things like this to remind us. We'll talk about it in a moment, but some other things as well that they're doing outside of releasing music to kind of keep themselves in kind of front and centre of attention. And you mentioned about doing a remix of people they know. Maybe they had a contact with someone at this metallic band, which I'm not familiar with metal. I mean, that folk country, no clue. Not in my wheelhouse at all, so I have no idea. Not massively my thing, but I enjoyed it. I really like the kind of edited Doubt music video as well. It's kind of like it's shot on a I don't know if it's like an iPhone or a Polaroid camera, but it kind of has that like chunk missing, and I don't know, the video looked distinctly different, kind of like how we had the I don't know if you remember the lyric video for Dummy and how that one's different. Yeah, like it's kind of like a 1.5. It's kind of like a 1.5 video. Like it's similar enough. It's got the same themes, but it's different enough where you're like, oh, like what's that what they did on the set? Oh, they did that shot as well. Okay. Oh, there's John in a garage. Oh wow, he's eating dog food. Wow. And in this one, it's oh wow, a few more different like scenes of like people running around in the snow and things like that. And it's like, oh okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got too many thoughts on this one, to be honest. I was fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry,
Yeah.
do you have anything else you want to say about the Doubt Mimizor rig? I mean, I'll link both of these down below if anyone's missed them on YouTube. So you just click the link and go, oh, I remember this, or oh, I didn't get around to seeing this, because I was mentioning a couple of podcasts ago. Some people just, and I think most people are like this, but they see a remix and they're like, and they just they just move on. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that sometimes.
Yeah. I think we all are as well, a little bit.
Yeah, but I will say, Mark said he's going to put the link down, and if you haven't watched the music video, anyone who participates in the PTM Framed every Monday, study up because it might come up in one of them. So
you do remixes as well now. Oh bloody hell, they're getting tough. I am not a very good framed player. Hurdle, I can hang with hurdle. Framed, no chance. Christ.
Yeah, the same thing as I mentioned with the hurdle. It's like I either get it in one or I don't get it at all. It's like I don't know. I'm surprised how poorly I've been doing with those.
It's really tough, hurdle. It's tough. Like you have to do your music video research. Like I don't know. Like I watched them a couple of times. Like I couldn't tell you what's frame for frame in the Dummy video, but as soon as I see Tank Dog, I'm like, well, it must be that. They're tough. Yeah. Again, do you have anything else you want to say about this remix? Or are we satisfied?
No, I don't think so.
No, we're feeling
good.
Okay. We've obviously had some remixes, had some other things. John has been busy podcasting, a bit like we are now, a bit like he's been doing. Apparently, he's been on one with Zoe and then one with Danny Brown, talking about everything from like health, like Francis, everything like that. I would normally do like a deep dive for these, but I think it's better people just individually go and listen to them at the source. So I'll be leaving links for them down in the description, so people just go check them out from the source. Plus, if I go through 2 full podcasts, this will be an extra hour long, and really, do you need to hear it from me when you can just hear it from the source? I'm not sure if there were any major like takeaways, anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm forgetting something, Ralph. But like, there isn't any like breaking news or anything from these interviews. But for the general public, obviously, it's more attention towards what's happening to Francis. Where we recently went over 300k. I think that number on the donation poll, donation target keeps increasing as well. So, which is awesome to see. Yeah. So I don't know. Have you got any general thoughts about these podcasts? What do you think?
Not really. I I did watch the full one with Danny Brown just because I thought that was such a funny pairing. John and Danny Brown, like I would have never predicted that in a million years. But yeah, there they were, and I watched the whole thing front to back, and it was cool. It was funny to watch them interact. But so I was like, if you're into both of them, I would definitely recommend like it's a quick watch. It's like maybe 30 to 45 minutes, which is like I guess not a super quick watch, but I kind of just had it on in the background while I worked. But yeah, it was interesting. It was funny.
Yeah, also, I'll, again, as I mentioned, I'll leave links down below. Go and check them out, and go support them. Go support John, because you know he comes on. He goes on people's podcasts sometimes, and he sits down and gets deep and talks about things. You know, don't always get that with a lot of bands. Well, you should do, but yeah, he's pretty open when he can be. Obviously, when he's not a parent and or writing music or whatever, he's happy to talk about the process and life and shoving a Grammy up his backside and everything in between, you know, as you would do. Yeah. I also wanted to talk about Ralph. We can go a little bit more in depth with this one. Another news topic, another thing that happened. Kexp. Now this is a radio station up in Seattle. If you've not seen the YouTube channel, they kind of do like in studio sets, like in front of an audience set. And they get bands on who are kind of touring. Maybe they're in the area, maybe like the day before a show or the morning of or the afternoon of. They'll get the band on, they'll play a couple of songs, and it's kind of intimate, kind of a different kind of experience. And they always do pretty good stuff. The YouTube channel, I mean, they've had so many artists on there. Like some of my favourite groups are on there, and they've performed. And I think it's been their third time now. The band have been on there 3 times. I could be wrong, Ralph. I don't know, 3 or 4. Kind of with every major album release, they've been on there, and. They did about a 25-minute set. Have you seen? What did you think? How did you feel? Did you enjoy it? Lots of questions.
Yeah, I mean they like PTM and KEXP is like hand in hand. Like they always play a good set. This one was definitely I think a little bit more like laid back than their previous sets, which like I was kind of going through the YouTube comments, and some people were like, oh, this is the best thing we've ever seen, and other people were like, oh, this is boring, this sucks. So it's like, I mean, you're never gonna please everybody, whatever. But yeah, and the one thing I like to point out is I love that they threw Still American in there with playing mostly newer songs and kind of closing out with that one. I did really it was cool to see that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a slight resurgence. I mean, with So American being thrown in from time to time ever since the Bernie rallies as well. I think they played it there. I think they kind of chopped it in and out every now and again. It's probably one of the more popular ones off In the Mountain and the Cloud, which for a while was their 3rd oldest album, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I suppose you got Chris Black, Woodstock, Evil Friends, but they're playing it bits from everything. But again. I actually really enjoyed this set. I enjoyed pretty much all of their sets. I think they're all pretty good. I liked how different this one was. This was a lot more laid back, a lot more chill. They played stuff a little slower, jammed out a little longer. I'll be honest, I have to come for KEXP. I don't know if you've seen the video. I don't know, Ralph, if you look at the YouTube timestamps, they've got the music video names all wrong.
I didn't see that.
I don't know. We can do a live reaction. I don't know if you can bring it up on your phone or anything right now while you're. If you can have a look without it playing. I mean, it is. I don't know if they've edited them, but I was like,
is it their description?
It's like it'll be in the description.
But the rest are.
Yeah, the rest are completely wrong. So I'm looking at them here. Darkness, which have they released a new song called Dark? I don't think so. And then we've got Get on the Dance. What, I mean, you already know, which must be Summer of Luv, I suppose? Yeah, it must be. And then Ghost Town. They got Ghost Town right, fair play. The End. That's the last of a show. Halfway through this set, The End, apparently.
Yeah.
Stand By Me. They're covering Stand By... Incredible.
Yeah.
Running. We're just calling it Running. That's not right at all. Which is Anxiety Clarity, I suppose. But then a So American, so they got Ghost Town So American right. I don't want to give too much flame to Kexp because I really like what they do. I thoroughly enjoy watching their videos and watching their live sets, but come on, guys. Come on. Running.
Yeah.
Stand by me. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know if those are like auto-generated or if someone like just completely mistyped. There might be an intern this week that gets in trouble. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Especially when Stand By Me gets flagged. They're like, wait, what? They covered what? No. But, I actually really enjoyed this set and got a lot of homework for everyone. A lot of things left in the description if you haven't seen it. It's about a 25 minute set. I think it was pretty good. Got some good takes on basically everything off, all the hits off the new album. Say hits, they're all hits. But I think it was pretty cool to see. I wasn't expecting it, but when I heard that they were on Kexp, I was like, oh, nice. Get another thing to enjoy. Pretty good as well working. When I'm working, it's nice, something like that to put on. I don't want anything too heavy. I don't know about you, Ralph. I don't really want anything too blaring at me and for the senses. I kind of like maybe a little smoother, something, vibe too while I'm working. Not too in your face. So this was really appreciated, and it was a good set. Very good set. Very solid. One of their however many they've done this year.
Yeah, I did, and I mean, people that like say it's too slow. Like this is Portugal the Man we're talking about. Like their acoustic stuff and like their slower stuff. It's some of the best stuff they do. They're good at that. Not that they're not good at like the loud in your face blaring stuff, but like,
I will also say, I think it's good that we get a slightly different take when we're in the live atmosphere as well. When you're there in person, you've got the live version. It'd be a bit boring if they played if they played the studio album version. Played it note for note, exactly the way they did. No jamming, just by the numbers. I think you'd get it, zazz it up a little bit. You might make someone's song that they didn't like before. Actually, I like it from this perspective now. So, when, if they play Champ, because I'd probably say Champ is my least favourite off the new album. I don't know about you, Ralph. I don't want to start dissing anything, but that's kind of my we can start off the new album. I don't know. It hasn't stuck with me too much. If they kind of did a remix for that, I'm like, oh, okay, I see it from this perspective. I could be now a fan of that. But if you do the same thing every time, plus if you come live, you want to see something. You were there for it, kind of. You had to be there. I don't like using that phrase, but you had to be there to catch that thing. Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts about this? What else did you think?
I'm trying to think if I have anything else. I don't. All I can say is if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
And go give some support to Kexp. Go give them a like as well.
Yeah, they deserve it. They're awesome.
Bully him in the comment section about the timestamps. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him we sent you.
Yeah, tell him I sent. Yeah. Awesome. We I don't know if you saw this, Ralph, but I posted. Yeah, and talking with Dylan last time, we actually discussed what is Portugal the Man's spookiest song. So basically, it was around the time of Halloween. So we're kind of discussing, what would be considered as the maybe Halloween song, spooky song, that kind of thing. And I'm kind of curious actually what you think of what you think your Portugal the Man's spookiest song is, or something you put in contention.
So that's a great question, and I think in in its own weird way, I want to say "All Your Light" for me might be my picks because it's like such an intense, in your face song, and there's a lot of dissonance, and it's just a really heavy song. So maybe not spooky in the ooh ghost kind of way, but spooky in in the intense way.
Yeah, not quite in the we're gonna make you jump kind of way, but yeah, no, it's kind of got a gruesome to it, which we kind of got a lot of in the comments. I was kind of expecting All Your Light, Ghost Town, that sort of thing. But we got a few things off Church Mouth and Waiter, and kind of a bit of everything really, which it's kind of cool because everyone's got a different perspective of what spooky is. I just thought I'd just ask the question really, and it was fun to be honest to get to get the community on another question. But that was last podcast question. And now we have another one for this time. You know, it's coming up to the end of the year, Ralph. End of December. End of the show, I was thinking, you know. End of the live show. What's the... You know, so I thought, what would be the best end of show song? A Portugal The Man live show. And I was kind of curious what everyone put, because I thought Sleep Forever would be nailed on. Everyone would just be, every comment would be that. It'd be like, you're stupid, why are you asking this? You're a fool, all that sort of thing. But no, we kind of got some mixed ones. I've only just had a quick look at it and we'll go through them in a moment. But I'll start with you because you're here. What is your, when you get to go see them finally, what would you like the capper to be for the live show?
You know, I hate to be like stuck in the past on this one, but I think it's because I never got to see it live and I always wish I had, and I'm going to steal the top comment. That jam they used to do of the Sleep Forever, Smile, and Hey Jude was like, that used to blow my mind. So they, you know, that was kind of that tour that they were first doing right around the time I got into them. And I would see these live videos and they would end their shows like that, and I was just so blown away by how well it worked and just how good it sounded and how like it's crazy. Like it's such a good way to end a show, such a powerful, impactful, and like really, really like drives the show to its end. I would love to see that part live, and I know again that was years ago, stuck in the past. People are probably thinking, no, like we want something new. We want something like that, but new. But like that would be my dream. That one is just, it's too good.
Yeah, no, I've seen plenty of live shows online and kind of VODs and stuff where they end with that Sleep Forever, Smile, Hey Jude, kind of mash up at the end there and a bit of jamming in the end, and it's like 10 minutes long, just that one like combination of things, but it's wonderful. It really is, it truly is, and I it's tough to kind of beat it, but again, we're going to go through the comments, and we'll start off with a Lazy Guided Melody. Hello Josh, if you're listening, who I've had on a couple of times. I actually did the Chris Black kind of review with him, which was pretty cool. Well, pretty cool. Good to go in depth with him on that one. And his top comment is, Sleep Forever is like the perfect song to end on. The Firefly 2018, when they ended with that, Sleep Forever, Smile, Hey Jude. How do you top that? Although I will say, when they ended with Devil / Helter Skelter / Sludge Jam in 2013, that shit was nuts. Now that's also a pretty cool one. I don't remember that one too much. I'm gonna have to look back and refresh my memory on that one. Are you a Helter Skelter, Devil / Sludge Jam fan? Two covers on that one, which I know some people are contentious of, but how you feel about that one as a capper?
That's another really good one. I mean, Josh here he really pulled the good answers. So it's no wonder he's the top comment. Because that one too, that one is like, it's heavy, it is sludgy. Like it's a good way to describe it. Like it's yeah, that one, it's like that one hits hard.
Yeah, and he also goes on to say that the sort of Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue has been pretty rad a few times. You know, we're a little biased. And maybe in the future, he also goes on to say Anxiety Clarity would make an amazing end of set song, because who doesn't like to go to Disneyland? I don't know. I think a good way to end it. I don't know. It'd be confusing for people walking past. They're like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is that Paul Williams? We're not going anywhere, Paul. Leave us alone. And commenting off him was Lyndon, who goes, Sleep Forever and Mornings are both excellent. Excellent album and live show closings. Yeah, because Mornings of Satanic Satanist and Majestic Majesty. Yeah, closing that one off. Yeah, I really like Mornings as well. Pretty heartfelt, pretty powerful one. Kind of both pretty good. Kind of like the, you know, Mornings walked so Sleep Forever could run. I don't know if that's
yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
I don't know. I think they're both pretty good. Yeah. How you? I don't know. You want to jump in and read any other comments here that you picked out, or in the next one along? So yeah.
I do like the next comment by Squash My Lemon saying open with Plastic Soldiers, end with Smile, just like the album. So basically just saying play Evil Friends. I think that's really funny. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of Sleep Forever and the Hate Another comment for Hey Jude. There's one down at the bottom, which is a different one. Is I'd like to hear number one as a closing song. That'd be kind of interesting, especially
Yeah.
considering that's more of an intro song. But that I mean that's a cool song, so that'd be a cool one to end with.
Yeah, I feel like that one is. I mean, I actually listened to Woodstock the other day, all the way through front to back, and I haven't like for a little while. Man, it hasn't aged that well. I don't know how you feel, Ralph. Like the whole album, Chris Black is just far on. This is a massive tangent. I don't know. I was a little disappointed. I was like, this just kind of pales in comparison. You know, I don't know. I think Chris Black is just so much to tons of like what were we doing, but you know we had to have Woodstock to kind of cross over this kind of like genre change that they kind of, even though they always consider themselves genreless, but I don't know. I like number one. I like it live a lot better. I will say that there is a good YouTube video of them playing it live, and it's like a little bit longer. It's like kind of like slowed down, and it's amazing. It's audio quality rubbish, but it sounds amazing. Just having a quick look here. 1989 by D-Dan. Now that kind of like builds up. It's kind of that big. God, I can't think of what the word is, but kind of builds up slowly into a big, powerful, punchy ending. Yeah, that's another good one. They have a lot of contentious stuff. Sleep Forever with Smile. Yep, Sleep Forever again. Just looking here. Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue. Yeah, we kind of see a kind of a lot of them, but definitely not a cover. No, definitely not a cover. There's a Ale Who. I can't quite pronounce that. Yeah, definitely not a cover. I did suggest that because obviously the Hey Jude thing is technically a cover, so I thought I'd throw that in there. I kind of have to, for me, I think Sleep Forever, but I don't know, I'd kind of... It depends if they do an encore or not, because obviously you have like the main set and then maybe they'll come back out and we'll play like 3 of the fan favourites. You know, and if they do that, I'm still fine with that because that'd be cool. You know, that'd be a good set. I'd still take it. I'll take anything at this point. I mean...
Yeah,
I'll take
for
a
sure.
live showing of American Ghetto, as random as that is. If they wanted to play that through, I think they could still do that. I mean,
Yeah, and speaking of When the War Ends would be a cool live show under too. Because
yeah,
I can't recall ever seeing like.
no,
I'm
they
assuming
didn't.
they must have played it live back in the day, but
Not
like any time in the past few, and definitely not any time like recently, right?
with American Ghetto. It was kind of a thing. I think they made it. They were in the studio for like 10 days or something, or maybe less than that, and they kind of put it out there. And I think that was at the time where they got that out, and then they got signed to Atlantic a bit after
Right.
that. So they were like, okay, we have more money, we can spend a little bit more on like budget for like a studio with this things, we'd have to rush it, blah, 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 blah. Exactly, we can spend a little bit more time. But I kind of like the idea of because they've done this a few times with albums, been like, oh, let's just go in the studio for 2 weeks and just you know see what flows, see what comes out of it. And I mean the fact that we have Sleep Forever, we have Plastic Soldiers, we have 1989 came up, quite a few things, what else am I forgetting? But I do think the Helter Skelter one, yeah, it's another cool one. I'm surprised that there was more variety, actually. Mornings as well. Yeah, that's another solid one. So there's like 4 or 5 contentious ones. I think Sleep Forever is probably the best one. It is also a little bit emotional, which is quite nice. There's quite a lot of emotion with that one. It is about death and moving on, essentially. I not presume, I know. So yeah, that one hits hard for me. Yeah, just I haven't got too much more to say, to be honest. But yeah, good stuff. I don't know. I think these are good points of contention for the community to like debate. Like, what is the and I think it's a good thing now. I'll be doing every podcast now. I'll have like something kind of lightning rod off to get the community. But I think it was good. I think it posed some good things. But yeah, I think Sleep Forever is probably kind of because they just, I don't know, they had a good streak of doing it so long, but they kind of mix and match with the live shows at the moment. So yeah, whatever they do, they play well. So can't really complain too much.
You can't go wrong.
No, definitely can't. Have you got any final thoughts? Anything else? Any other shout-outs you want to give to like why isn't guns the why can't they end with that? Probably because people have to go
No.
home.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have any more thoughts on that one.
I will say I'd be curious to see if Anxiety Clarity starts to creep in as like a closer, or like maybe a segment of that, maybe a segment of something else. You know, chuck in a bit of this,
Yeah.
chuck in a bit of that, because they kind of, I can't, you know, the live show sheets that kind of get posted around like the Reddit and the Discord, they kind of tweak a little bit, but they kind of seem to play a little bit off every album, which is pretty cool. Maybe barring It's Complicated being a wizard. Yeah, and they'll always play like a Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue and then Feel It Still. Some people, you know, I considered that as well because maybe it keeps the normies there to the end of the show. It's like you've got to listen to all it, then you get what you hear the carrots at the end. We're dangling the carrots at the end of the show, though. You've got to wait. Got to be patient for it. But, you know.
Gotta earn it.
Got to earn it, yeah. Because they definitely did Feel It Still a few times at the end of the show. And, you know, there was stuff like the big monitor behind them when they're playing live, and it would be like, oh, here's the one your mum likes, or something, you know, like, oh, here's the one you've all been waiting for, and there you go, they sing it for 2 minutes 30 seconds and then move on straight away. I think they're not done with it, but yeah, I don't know. Just thinking out loud for a moment, Ralph, there was a time where they were done with People Say, and I don't think they wanted to play that anymore live. I think they might be getting there with Feel It Still. I think they might be putting that one on ice.
Yeah, I can see it being retired in the near future. It's kind of like they're like we talked about Foster the People a little while ago. It's kind of like their Pumped Up Kicks. Like
yeah,
they
don't play that live at all. I kind of think of it as like the Killers' Mr. Brightside, but that's actually listenable.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they played that 1,500 times. I think I saw in an article once, and I'm like, bloody hell! I know it's a bit older, but like that's just think about that. Like that's just too many times. But anyway, thank you again. If you haven't got anything else you want to like poach out, I'll just say thank you everyone to submitting for community questions. I think, you know, we'll keep doing them. If people keep answering, I'll keep doing them until no one answers one, and then we'll stop. So there you go. But I think it's a good way to kind of branch, gauge the community, and see what people are thinking. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
I want to say thank you, Ralph, for getting this far in the podcast, but thank you for coming on, I should say. But you're not quite out of the woods yet. No. Got one more thing left on the docket. The PTM Song Game Quiz. You said beforehand that you'd seen a couple of the shows, so and maybe like how tricky people are finding these. So how are you feeling before we get quizzing? How are you feeling pre-quiz?
I have not done today's yet. So I truly have no idea what it is, and but it's what really gets me is like whenever I hit play, I always know when it's a something magic song off It's Complicated Being a Wizard, because you can just tell. But like I have not even try as I may like guessing every single magic I can. You know, you only get the 6 guesses, but I've still never even guessed one right. Like I haven't even gotten lucky and gotten one right. So those ones are always like whenever I hear it, I'm like, oh great, this one's an L for today. But yeah, overall it's kind of it just depends because some of them I haven't listened to in so long, and then like you have Waiter is definitely one that I have listened to like by far the least. So like those ones come up, and those ones I'm really not too sure about. But you know, as you get more toward the newer stuff, I haven't been having too much trouble.
And Hurdle, Framed, awesome, brilliant. We've got our own show on the podcast, the PTM Song Quiz. That's what I meant. Sorry, I didn't realise you'd go on that tangent for a moment. No, it's all good. No, it's all good. I haven't. I'll jump on the Framed and get embarrassed again after this. And also notice that Dylan is actually one ahead of us on the on the Hurdle because he's his time zone he's in the future actually. So he's got that witchcraft. But yeah, we've got the Song Game Quiz. 10 questions, yes or no kind of questions. Got to ask them. It's about one song from their entire discography. You've got to whittle it down. What am I thinking? I've got it written down here on my Word document, ready to go.
Right.
Do you have any questions before we start? I will say a good hint maybe later down in the year, like when you struggle. Obviously, the last question has to be a guess. A good one would be to ask, have we mentioned it today?
Okay.
Could be yes or no. If you want, you don't have to use it, but one to like break it up if you're struggling towards the end. But I would try and get it down to the album pretty quickly, or the EP,
Okay.
or if it's a single. Because one day I'm going to do the Endangered song, or Yeah Boy, or something, and people are going to struggle. But I haven't been that mean yet. But have you got any questions, or do you think you're ready to go, ready to begin with the questioning?
I think we're ready to go. I don't know why I thought you were talking about the hurdle. My brain just went toward the
No,
hurdle.
that's-
But
No,
but
I
this,
mentioned
yes.
games. I didn't specify the one on there. No, that's fair enough. They Hurdle and Framed are very good. Very good. I like them both a lot. But yeah, once you're, if you want to start off with your first question, we'll get rock and rolling.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up their stuff as a reference, unless that's cheating. But so I know what questions to ask.
No, it's
Okay.
I'm surprised people haven't done that more often. To be honest, I mean, if you think you have everything in front of you, that is.
Okay. Is the album that the song is on? Did it come out in the year 2013 or earlier?
Earlier.
Okay. Let's see. I'm like looking through them. I'm gonna think of really specific questions and try to get this down.
If that's right, you've had one question, so.
Okay. Is it from an album or an EP?
Well, I do yes or no questions, so if you
Okay.
pick one and then yeah, otherwise it gets complicated because you could ask, is it on one of these three albums? And I
Right.
yes,
Right.
yes.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So, is it from an EP?
No.
Okay. Is the album title alliterative?
No.
Okay. That was what, 3 questions, 4 questions?
You've asked 3 questions. You have your 4th.
Okay.
Talk it out. You can speak it out loud. Like, what are you thinking? Like,
Well, so I just
thing.
the alliterative question. I did eliminate a couple now with that question. Because if that one was a yes, that would have narrowed it down quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the ones I have left to try to find a good common theme here. Well, is it from their first album?
Is it from Wait Till You Vultures, their first album? No.
Okay.
So just to double check so far, you've asked if it's an EP, if it's 2013 or earlier. It was earlier. So you asked if it's a studio album, or sorry, if it was an EP. I said no. You asked if it was alliterative. I said no. And if you asked if it was the first album, that was also no. Just for people at home checking.
Okay, I gotta make a good move here. Get the album down.
Well, how many have you got left? How many can you choose from? Like, talk it out to me. So you, not the first one.
I believe there's 3, unless I'm mistaken.
Right. Could you
So
be?
of those 3, I'm trying to think of a good question that I don't just eliminate one at a time. Trying to nail it here. So let's see.
Duration, something like that. Could be year. Could be artwork on the album or something.
Does the album cover have John's mustache on it?
It does. Yes.
Okay.
That is your 5th question. You have 4 more and a guess.
Okay.
So what is this? You think this is a... You've narrowed it down to one of...
I think it could still be another one, but
But what are you leaning towards with your gut then?
I'm leaning. I see the mustache question is tough because now I'm down to Church Mouth and In the Mountain and the Clouds because they both technically do have this mustache on them.
Okay. You could just ask one of them to cut it down just to be sure. Or
Yeah,
you
is it
could
on
ask...
Church?
Sorry?
No, I was gonna say, is it on Church Mouth? Because that's what I'm leaning towards.
It is on the
All right.
album Church Mouth.
Is the title of the song one word?
No. That was your 7th question. So we're down to non-worded ones of Church Mouth. You're doing alright. That was a good question to ask because there's a fair few worded ones.
Ooh. So, looking at the track listing, would I find it on the first half, meaning songs 1 through 6, or the second half? So, well, okay, I guess yes or no. Is it on the first half, meaning is it song 1 through 6?
It is on the first half, yes.
Okay. Ooh. But it's not one word, so that gives me still a few options, but...
And you've got one more guess, one more question, and then a guess. So you really could narrow this down pretty well to a 1 and 2 potentially.
Yeah.
You've got a good chance here. You've got 33% chance.
Yeah. Well, is the title more than 2 words?
No.
Okay.
You were hoping for yes there, weren't you?
Yeah, I would have had it right there.
So we're down
okay, so
to...
now I have a guess.
You've got to guess which one it is. You've got a 50-50 shot, as far as I'm aware. 50-50 shot.
I think there's 3 on here. I could be between.
Well, hang on. No, you said the first half of the album.
Yeah, so there's Church Mouth, Sugar Cinnamon, and My Mind are all first half non-one word answers.
This is true. So actually, you've got a 33% chance of guessing. What are you thinking?
I am gonna say that my mind is telling me it's My Mind.
It's getting tough, this quiz, because every episode I've got to tell someone they got the wrong one. From 2007, Sugar Cinnamon off Church Mouth is this episode's guess. You got so close.
I know those were actually the 2 I was between, was My Mind and Sugar Cinnamon, and I kept like back and forth in my head, but
you had to get to the album a bit, maybe a question earlier. But then the divide in the first half and the second half, no one's done that. That's a very good question. Or maybe they haven't, I've forgotten. But that was a good way of splitting it. Because I wasn't...
There you go. I was going to say, there you go. Any future guests? There's a good question to ask.
Yeah, absolutely a good question. But yeah, Sugar Cinnamon, track 2 off Church Mouth studio album. Not the vinyl, which includes like 17, which is a nice little track. I don't know if you've heard that one, but that's off there. But yeah, unlucky, good effort. It's difficult when you're under the pressure. You're like 10 questions. Wow, I've really got to get it, and then you don't quite get the album straight away. Maybe you don't quite get the answers you were hoping for. For some reason, I thought My Mind had one word in the title. For some, my brain just decided to stop working. But no, that's bad. But anyway, I just want to say thank you, Ralph, for coming on today. Pretty short, short notice for this, and thank you for coming on. You've been a really insightful guest. Provided good knowledge. It's been good to chat to you. We actually had a fair bit in common, Portugal The Man wise, so that's always pretty cool to have. So no, do you have anything you want to close out the show? Anything you want to like throw people to? Anything you want to like promote or anything? Now the floor is yours for a little bit, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, first things first is I want to say thank you for having me, and for doing this in the first place. It's awesome. It's cool. And I, look forward to the episodes. I think it's been great for the community. And I know, a
Oh,
lot
thank
of
you.
other people that love it too. Um, yeah, no, just shout out everyone in the Discord, shout out everyone from the Reddit. Like, again, this is like the best community, like music wise, I'm a part of. Everyone's like, everyone's cool, everyone's chill, everyone loves to talk about whatever. Um, and just feel free to always feel free to reach out to me about whatever. I know I don't like always like super participate in the Discord, and I don't really like use Reddit that much, but like I still look. I'm always looking. I'm lurking. I'm there.
You're
I
always
see
looking.
things. So yeah, if you ever have a question or need something or just want to chat about whatever, just hit me up on Discord. Hit me up on Reddit. Don't use the uh, don't use the Reddit chat function because I won't see it. Use
Ah,
use
okay.
the use the um, DM or use Discord. It'd be the best. It's the most likely that I'm going to see it. But yeah, that's I've been part of this community for a long, long time now. It feels like so. Well, it has. It's since that even probably 10 something 11 years now at this point. So it's been really cool to see it grow. We're actually coming up on almost 10K in the subreddit, which is
Wow.
crazy
Are
because
we
it
really
was
almost
like,
there? Bloody hell.
yeah. So I won't say too much, especially because nothing is set in stone. But myself and Chris and our other mod Zach, who goes by PortExe in the Discord and the Reddit, um, we have a separate chat. We always try to come up with ideas and stuff to do, and we're trying to figure out something cool for hitting 10K. Um, Chris has been in touch with the band and Rich and all them trying to figure something out. Again, nothing set in stone, so like, I can't say too much about what we've been throwing around, but yeah,
Okay.
hopefully we can get something. Hopefully we can get something set up because it's a huge milestone for us. So.
Yeah, nice little exclusive there. Thank you for that. I had no idea. I didn't realise. So I'll go make 600 fake accounts now and get us over the
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
Yeah, this
yeah.
is
Get
John
working.
Forley, big fan. Yeah, I'm Juan Gorley, big fan as well. Yes, lots of accounts like that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, if you have any, you said Reddit, Discord, anything else, I can leave in the description unless you want to shout it out now. I don't know if you frequent social media, but yeah, Ralph's pretty good. He's one of the mods on there. One of the two that I've had. I haven't had too much interaction with PortExe. He's obviously busy with like Hurdle and creating that and the framed and like doing the updates for that and bits and pieces, and he's got his own life. So, but yeah, do you think? Oh, just one last question. Who do you think I should have on here next? Who I haven't already had on? Anyone from the community or anyone? I mean, I've got like dream guests that I want to get on here. Obviously, you can. It's not too hard to imagine who I'd like to get on here, but yeah, is there anyone I should be? You want to shout out? Anyone I should call out when I get
Um,
on here?
if you can, since you just mentioned you haven't really interacted with him, if you can catch Zach or Port EXE, yeah, you should have him on. He's awesome. Another big fan. He's been modding with me since the beginning too. Me, him, and I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out Nico. I just call him Nico. I think its full thing is Nico Marcus on Reddit. No, he's been there for even longer than any of us. He doesn't really frequent the Discord that much, but he does a lot behind the scenes on the subreddit, or
Okay.
has in the past too. But yeah, if you can catch up with Zach, he'd be a cool guest. He has a lot of
All
cool stuff to
right.
talk about.
I've probably prodded him once or twice, but just maybe not heard back from him because he's busy for whatever reason. But I'll touch base with him again, maybe with Nico as well. I don't really. I know there were like 5 mods on the Reddit, and I've only interacted with now 3 of them. Thank you. And I'll get to talk to you a little bit more on here as well. So maybe I'll get all of them done and then down the line. But yeah, just wrapping up. I'd like to say thank you for listening. Got some fun stuff, and towards the end of this year, hopefully, early next year, get some more guests on. Hopefully, get more stuff to cover. Maybe some tours to cover. Get the fans on, and yeah. If there's nothing else to say, I'll just say thank you guys. Have a good one. Cheers.